Hello. This is, well, welcome to the show. This is the Joker and the Bard. This is I guess this is a bonus episode. I don't know. I'm very tempted just to record this as a practice. This is just practice. Maybe I'll do a practice series. Yeah. I honestly don't know what story to tell. Just kind of having one of those days that's, I don't know, you kind of just doubt everything. Do you guys do that? Do you doubt? You just doubt everything. And you kind of, I don't know, you kind of come out of it and you go, oof. Why am I doubting everything? Why doubt everything? Why doubt myself, really? It's not everything, it's just doubting myself. I don't know. And it's weird. It's like when you have nothing to worry about, when you've kind of, there's always something to worry about, right? Like, poverty and climate and war in far lands, or class warfare, or racism and systemic racism and the relentless encroachment of the kind of monoculture of capitalism and everything. And then there's all these things like, the conspiracy theories that, there's so much. There's just so much, to worry about. And that's just the shit that, oh, here we go, I'm all right. I think we start. I've only got 11 minutes because I got something in the oven. Leanne is not here. So I'm too scared to cook on my ones. I always fuck it. I'm chilling out. I'm having an ovenable thing in my jig. It's just nice. Whatever. Fuck you. Yeah. So, there is so much to worry about. I was actually going to write an essay about this. I really wanted to write an essay about this because it's like, palm oil. That was my entry point into so much, because palm oil is one of those things that it's super counterintuitive. And I'm not some guy that's like, oh, fucking, yeah, just eat it or whatever. It's like, no. I've done a good amount of reading on this. I went pretty deep on it. There's a person on Twitter who I was following, and he's released a paper, and there's all sorts of... There was a London School of Economics lecture with a albeit a managing director of one of the big supermarkets, and that's a bit different values there, but maybe, I don't know, you can't, I don't know. I mean, I'm very conscious of offshore wealth. That blows my mind, to be honest with you, right? If you're going to worry about anything, worry about where the rich people are hiding their fucking money. That's I mean, that's literally all it is. It's the banks are, oh God, this is a proper rant. I may or may not publish this. I'll listen to it back, and if it's too serious, then I don't want to and I try and be so understanding of everyone. I try my hardest to just give everyone the benefit of, not doubt, but the benefit of of just being a kind person, right? You just give them a chance. You give I constantly giving things. I don't like slagging anyone off or criticizing everyone, unless I'm criticizing and it's I know they can take it. All right, I was no, I'm never gonna meet that person. There's some things that I can appreciate, most any kind of art, right? When you produce a piece of art, and there's this thing, it's 90% of everything's shit, right, or whatever the thing is. It's I don't know where that came from. I don't get that, because it's like, you could just ask, turn around and say, shit to who? Shit to whom? Is it who? I always fuck that one up. And I look it up. I've looked that thing up probably 20 times. You know, to whom is the 90% shit? You know, like, that's the thing. It's like, to the person, like, I think with a lot of artists, right? I think this is the case, but like, I don't know, maybe this isn't the case, but like, for me, I'll just keep it for me. I won't try and generalise. But for me, with art, right, when you create something, it's like, holy shit, I did it. I fucking produced something. I did it. Like, and you kind of can't believe you did it. It's almost shocking to you that you're actually able to do anything creative. Like, because creativity is one of these things, you're completely in control of what you're doing. And it's like, it's just a total form of expression, and it's just really freeing and liberating. And when you hear people, oh, 90% of everything's crap, it's like, yeah, but like, you know, by whose metric? If you really do believe that love is held in the eye of the beholder, and I think, I don't know, you know, if you want to get into like the philosophy of like aesthetics, and I've not read enough, I haven't really read anything on aesthetics really. Most of my understanding of aesthetics comes from maybe some Wikipedia pages and some, you know, the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. That's very good. I like that a lot. But like, maybe I've read some stuff on it. I know, didn't Hegel, I think it's Hegel. I always mispronounce that man's name wrong, ever since I was a boy. But yeah, this idea of like, I don't know, the objectivity of aesthetics, right? Like, is there an objective beauty? Like, can you rank beauty? And I think like there's I think it, you know, I've always thought, one of my big philosophies, I think, and this is I think David Foster Wallace sort of he inspired this idea greatly, and he's a fantastic. It's funny, I was about to say he's a fantastic novelist. I haven't read any of his novels. I only know him through his reflections in the culture. You know, like I watched his commencement speech on YouTube many times, like that, and obviously I think we've all, you know, that this is this is water. That kind of that's where he gave that speech. I think I've read the transcript of it as well, and I've read a lot about his life. But Infinite Jest has always scared me. I've listened to many interviews with him talking. I was more interested in him than I was his work. I've read the first page of Infinite Jest, and I think I'll like it, but it intimidates me because I think I know what he's saying, and even my fear of it. Anyway, what I was saying was the thing with aesthetics is there's this, like, I've always thought there's these properties, right? These universal properties, and you have beauty and truth, right? That's all you really have. You know, you have beauty and truth, because beauty, and you know, if you were to put it on like a spectrum, or like if you were to make beauty two-dimensional, you'd say you have beauty on one end, and then on the other end you'd have like ugliness. And even to say the word ugly makes me feel uncomfortable, because when was the last time you saw something truly ugly, right? Like, what, you know, I pick up cat shit all the fucking time. And when I look at the cat shit, you go, oh, let me smell it. Oh, fuck, it's fucking cat shit in the fucking house. Like, fuck. See, look, I was talking in my head voice. See, that's podcaster voice. It's got to be a bit more. Is it baritone? No, serotonin. No, it's something. I don't know. Anyway, when was the last time you saw something really ugly? Like, what is ugliness? Maybe that's where a lot of philosophers have gone wrong. Maybe I'm betraying a lot of ignorances here, and I don't actually know that maybe there's a philosophy on ugliness. But who wants to do that? You know, where's the fun in that? Like, and when you really ask these questions, like, it's hard. You know, it's really hard to figure out what is ugliness and what's beauty. Like, does it even make sense to say that? Like, my point is like, we have things that we don't enjoy, right? Like, there are probably images that you don't enjoy looking at. Sorry, I just had to I paused there. Yeah, images that you don't enjoy looking at. You know, that's the weird. It's a weird one, because there are images that I don't enjoy looking at. We all have. It's not just images like on a computer screen. I mean, I'm talking about, like, there are experiences I know I'm not going to enjoy. You know, like having my house broken into and being, you know, and someone, you know, smashing the place up and leaving, right? I don't even want to articulate some of the darker thoughts in my mind because they're so horrible and dark. I don't even want to put those images into anyone's mind. You know, that is kind of why I really struggle with horror and, like, watching horror and consuming horror. And some people love that shit, man. Like, I say, like, what the fuck's the matter with you? Why do you like to be scared? Like, I'm scared enough as it is. Like, I'm fucking alive, and, like, I know at any moment the world could just end for me, right? Because I'm a human, and we are mortal things, and we, you know, every moment is fucking amazing because you've got something you're experiencing, and it's just so profound and so special. So to even, I mean, maybe that's the thrill of it, right? That's the thrill of it. It's this vicarious feeling of death or gloom or moments of, like, there's that scene. Oh my god, the scene! Holy fuck! There was a scene in I think it's Saving Private Ryan, right? And I'm sorry, I'm gonna put some fucking shitty feeling, but in your brains right now, like, or not your brains, but in your essences, in your beings. Yeah, god damn it, man, you sound like a goddamn hippie. I've been listening to Quentin Tarantino's podcast, and he fucking hates hippies, man. That man does not like hippies. No, what I'm saying is I don't like using the kind of mechanical, biological words like brain, right? You know, in your brain, because you're not your brain, right? Like, you're not. You're fucking. You're everything. So I don't want to. Anyway, what was I saying? Saving Private Ryan. And in Saving Private Ryan, there's a scene. I can't remember who's who in it, but I know it's not Matt Damon because Matt Damon survives. It is Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan, isn't it? When he gets old at the end, that's that meme. I've seen that a lot. But yeah, it's not Matt Damon, but some guy gets jumped by another guy, right? They're on one's on one side, the other's on another side, and of the war, and one of them puts a knife in the other one's chest, but he does it very slowly. And who directed Saving? Was it Spielberg? It must have been Spielberg. Should I look that up? Should I do it? Should I fuck around with the phone and fucking look at it? No, I'm gonna trust myself and say it was Spielberg. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You guys can. No one's tweeting me. Oh shit! I should do an analytics readout as well. It's really cool. There's a couple of listeners, South America. I need to check my laptop, but I'll find out. You know, it's cool. Like, fuck, if anyone is actually listening, it's funny, man. Like, what is the matter with you? You got nothing better to do than listen to me droning on about nothing. No, that's mean. We're having fun. What is my life? But in this moment in Saving Private Ryan, you know, this soldier's plunged, they're falling to the ground, there's a scuffle, they fall to the ground, one lands on top of the other, and one of them gets a knife, the top guy gets a knife, and slowly, very slowly, like painfully slowly, like the director knew exactly what they were doing, like it was, I'm pretty sure it was Spielberg, he knew exactly what he was doing, and you can see this man's face as he is being slowly killed. And I remember watching that when I was too young. Should not have watched it when I did. I don't know when that film came out, but that moment when you see it in his face and you can hear it and feel it, and smell it, you know, his blood, and it's just, oh, good Lord, man, like, it's one of those things that just lingered with me. All my life has lingered. That image lingered with me. And it's something that I fear greatly. I fear it. I have so much fear. And not just like being like stabbed in the battlefield. I mean, yeah, obviously that's terrifying. But like, just that idea that someone somewhere can decide how your existence ends. Like, what the fuck? Someone else decided that for you. They said, no, I am taking you out now. Like, whoa. Like, whoa. And maybe this is my, like, Greek philosophy upbringing, right? Like, you know, I'm of that tradition, right? Like, I you know, it's this very much an individualist perspective. It's the philosophy is very, I don't know, I compare a lot of like philosophy from the kind of Greek tradition, let's say, to like, you know, the ancient Chinese tradition. And it's so, and when I say ancient Chinese, really it's ancient, like, I mean, I can't say where like Confucianism came from. You know, like with Lao Tzu and like, you know, the way, and I guess, I suppose that's Taoist. That Taoist stuff sort of started with Lao Tzu. I think that's how I'm sorry if anyone really knows their stuff with Chinese, but you know, and I can't even pronounce the name of the book. It's the I can't pronounce that. I haven't heard that spoken. But with the Tao, like, and the way, like, that, it's funny, like, I remember recently reading about, or trying to look up contemporary Chinese philosophy. I was really curious, because obviously my Mandarin is not, I can't, you know, I'm rubbish. Like, I really can't read in Mandarin at all. Like, I'm like, you know, I've got like an it's a HSK1. I'm like my reading level's terrible. But I get, you know, Google, oh fucking Google. I translate. Google Translate's good. Like it helps a lot. Like, and I always double check with like Leanne or someone who's like, is this definitely, like, you get the gist of a lot of things. Like, I read a lot of Wikipedia in Mandarin, and then just flipping the, you know, with translate, not a lot, but like I do it, it's fun. Because quite often you'll find that, like, you know, obviously the English Wikipedia people, like, aren't good at the ones who are dominant on it, because that's how it works, right? You have like, Wikipedia people who are just like, they're like on it and that's their thing, and they do these articles, these pages. But like when you go to the same topic in a different language, you get an entirely different thing. Most of the time it was written by a different person, and there's a whole different group of people deciding whether or not that thing should be in there. You know, different people are going to do it. So like, you know, if you're reading I haven't done this, but I imagine it'd be quite interesting, is you go on the Dostoevsky page on Wikipedia, but then read it in Russian. I imagine it would be very interesting comparing the differences between the things, because I'm fairly sure they don't just write it in English and then someone translates the English. I'm fairly sure, you know, a native Russian speaker would come in and then would do their thing. I don't really know how it works, but that's my assumption is that's the case. And I have such an interest in Wikipedia. You know why? It's because if you're an information addict, It's the best free shit around, man. It's great. And everyone always slags it off. And I know why. It's because it's like... But it's always there, you know? It's not... I'd love to know... You know, I'm sure it gets... I think it gets a lot of detail wrong. Right? Like, detail. But for general pictures of things... And I don't know the biases there. I'm sure everyone's just got... Oh, you have no idea, blah, blah, blah. But maybe, you know, maybe, but I like it. Like, it's interesting. It's not, at least it's... I mean, I don't know what... You know, I wrote a fucking short story about all this because it was so funny. But no, what was I saying? What was I saying before I went on my week? Oh, yeah. So you have individualist Greek traditional thinking, right? Like, it's very individual. I mean, I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if I could really say that, but, like, there is the sense of, like... I mean, it's seen, obviously, you know, the classic thing is it's almost cliche now to say it, but, like, the idea of the American... That kind of American individualism, like life, love and liberty or whatever, like the right to a good life for you, the individual. That, you know, like, but then but when you read kind of like, I mean, obviously I'm very underread in lots of these things, but like when you look at the philosophies of, like, I don't know, in Zen, for example, if you read The Gateless Gate, right, and that's your, I don't want to say, you know, Bible, but that's your philosophical text. You know, I would distinguish. There is a religious element to Zen and like, you know, and Buddhism and things. They're very interrelated, but Zen is a very distinctive thing from. You know, it comes from a very specific... the Zen I'm talking about, not the stuff that went, you know, from India. Like, I don't really know you know, I think we're like 1,100, not BC, is it CE? You know, Christ was 2,000, wasn't it? So 2,000, whatever we are. We can say our date, you know, that's weird. But, yeah, so it's like the year 1,100 or something was when some of these guys were knocking around. And that text is still here with us. It's got to be. Let me just double check when the Gateless Gate... No, it can't be... It can't be that. Maybe it could be... let me check. Gateless... Gate. Oh man, I can't type for shit. I always struggled with this book. I actually gave my copy away because I read the back page and it was like, he basically said, like, if you get it, yeah, 13th century. So I'll just read you. I think this is a cool thing to read out loud on the internet. So the Gateless Barrier, Guan, which means in Mandarin it's like no barrier or something, right? But in English it kind of translates to the Gateless Barrier. You know, is a collection of 48 Zen koans compiled in the early 13th century by the Chinese Zen master Wumen Hukai. I should know how to pronounce his name. Anyway, yeah. So that is, yeah, 1,180, the year 1,183 to 1,260. So, you know, we say, like, so that's 1183 to 1260, right? Like, what would we say, like 22? So this is like 1,000-year-old thing. And I guess, like, what's some of the other old shit? Like, the Greeks were knocking around. All this is all, yeah. So it's all old shit. It's ancient shit. Well, it's not ancient. It's only 1,000 years old. Not that old in the grand scheme. I got rocks older than that. But, yeah. But there was this kind of, like, you know, so they were monks, right? They were Zen masters, whatever. They had, like, but really, I don't know. They're just scholars. I've always thought of them as scholars. But my point is like, when you read some of this stuff, it's like, it's not, it's all about trying to, you're prescribed like a koan, right? That was the idea. It's like a certain student would be prescribed a certain koan. So that's quite interesting, right? Because it's like, it's like you take like the Marcus Aurelius, like the meditations or whatever, right? And like you imagine someone comes to you like, I'm fucking miserable, and it's like you would prescribe them one section of that, right? It was that, but it's not really even that case, because the way I understand the Zen teaching was like, it was like, for whatever reason you've decided to follow the path of the way, or Zen, or whatever you want to call it, and you're going on this journey of self-awakening. You've decided to go on, and I suppose the parallel from like Plato, I think was the guy who said this, like, the unexamined life is not worth living, but it's not even that. It's like, this is the idea of like examining one's own life. And what like, they're similar things, right? Like, they are similar things. That's a similar conception. It's like, they're all means or ways of trying to understand yourself via yourself, right? Like, you're trying to enrich your own sense of self by imbibing language, or by imbibing thought from someone else who's experienced things for long. And this actually really is not that profound. That's just what we do. We try and help each other out. But the trouble is like, when someone comes from a completely different set of experiences to you, no matter what you say to them, they're not going to be able to understand perfectly, because they're not you. They're just not you. They're their own person. So you can't, it's so funny, right? Like, the other day, I was in a comic book. The comic book shop, I forgot my laptop in. And I love this comic book. It's a good, and he's a really lovely man. But there was a moment in the conversation, and we hit it off straight away, because I've always been too shy, really. These comic book stores. How ironic is that? I was nervous to go into comic book stores, and most people, back when I was young, I was, you're a nerd or a geek or whatever, and it was like, there was a horrible place. They're really intimidating places, because I didn't want to go in there and get called out for my lack of knowledge of, like, X-Men or whatever, like Spider-Man, who was the writer on 2099, right, from this year, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that was what I was afraid of. It was being singled out as an imposter, right? So that kind of just stems from, like, a fear of, like, I don't know, it's like a fear of rejection, fundamentally. Anyway, I finally decided, I wanted to go into this comic book shop. I just wanted to have a look around. I was curious. I live right near it. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, you have fucking cool shit in here. Like, and then all of a sudden I get talking to the guy that runs it. One conversation kind of leads to another. We do a lot on, like, the history. It's very English, very British, the British science fiction tradition. Like, what was he's much older than me. He must be about, I don't know, like 50s, something like that, like maybe early 50s, maybe mid 50s. And it's one of them things, and this guy he's been running the independent comic book stores. Are like, you're fucking lucky if you have one. Like, I'm serious. Like, if you have a comic, not even independent, but like, if you have somewhere where you can go and buy comic books, you're very lucky to be within that kind of sphere. So the people running these places nowadays, if you're running a physical media store, like, for the most part, it's like, you're just getting by. You really are. Like, most people are just, I do the same. You just inhale shit on the internet, right? And most of the time you expect it all to be free to some degree. Or at least as cheap as possible. So we're talking, and he talks a lot about the early Doctor Who, which I didn't really watch, and I kind of came in on David Tennant. I like David Tennant; he's a brilliant actor. And then I kind of fell out of it. Oh, what's the other guy? Ericsson, something other. But anyway, I was never a Doctor Who fan. I thought it was all a bit, I don't know, very English, very British. So the one thing that I do enjoy that's terribly English, terribly British, is Douglas Adams. He was a hero of mine, because he was the first time I read Douglas Adams, I didn't feel alone anymore. I was like, oh my God, someone is on the same fucking asteroid plane as me, right? Like, fuck. And I'm not trying to say that in a way of like, oh, I can, I'm a writer, right? You're as good as that. It's not that. Like, I don't think, it's actually funny because I think Douglas Adams was very much a reluctant novelist. Like, he created, there was video games, there was radio plays, there was films. I think he, I don't know. I've always wished... I haven't read about him. I've only really read his work. I haven't read Dirk Gently, but I've read all of Hitchhikers. And I'm a huge fan of the film. Just come on, let's have a little segue here for the film, right? You've got Zooey Deschanel, right? You've got Sam Rockwell. You've got Mos Def. You've got Alan Rickman as Marvin. You've got Stephen Fry narrating, and you've got how I always forget this actor's name, but he's brilliant. Hang on, not Google, but some other search engine as good as that one. No, why am I trying to be like all BBC about this? Fuck off. No, I can I use Google. It fucking does the job. Does the job, mate. Fucking does the job. What am I Googling? Arthur Dent. Let's see who Arthur Dent was played by. Obviously, there's been loads of fucking versions of him. There was Simon Jones. He portrayed Arthur Dent, protagonist, blah, 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 on television in 1981. But the man I am searching for is not Simon Jones, who apparently is still knocking around. He's doing all right. Oh, hang on a minute. Is he dead? Oh, God. No. Have I just... Yeah, was born. Oh, no, that's all right. You are was born. Anyway, Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman is my G. Obviously, Martin Freeman... So Mos Def goes by Yassine Bey now. I didn't know that. He's always been Mos to me, Mos. But yeah, Bill Bailey was in it. Fucking hell, man. Warwick Davis. So that's the other thing. Not only have you got Alan Rickman voicing the... it is Alan Rickman. Why has that not come up? John Malkovich was in it. I swear to God, Alan Rickman is in this show. Don't tell me that's not Alan Rickman. And it was... Because Warwick Davis is in the suit of Marvin, right? Like, that's how that happened. Then, I'm sorry, Alan Rickman is most certainly... Yeah, Bill Bailey was the whale. Stephen Fry is obviously the narrator. Where is yeah, Alan Rickman. Yeah, I'm not insane. Yeah. So, I loved that movie. I thought it was brilliant. It's a fucking amazing film. And everyone it got slated. No, it didn't get slated, but I don't know. And there's that scene with the Vogon poetry, talking about ugliness. Vogon poetry. You think I think it's got nothing to do with ugliness, really. It's what it's got to do with is boredom or tedium. That's very me though. I can't stand being bored. I'm always occupying my. This is what I'm doing now. Nothing else to do. I fucking speak for fucking an hour onto the phone. Bunch of randos who do not follow me back on Twitter. You do not. It's fine. Tommy's out there. Thank you, Tommy, my number one fan. Shout out to Thomas Willow, representing, following on the Twitter. Doesn't seem to interact or like it. That's fine. You know, I know he's there. He's listening. That's amazing. He pops this on. What are you doing, Tommy? What are you up to, mate? See, that's too much of a shout out. And I've gone on like 3-4 tangents within this story about the comic book shop, man. So I'm going to wind this back now. Anyway, basically all I'm saying is I'm a big fan of Hitchhikers, right? So when I'm talking about some of my favourite writing, I actually have a section I've copied out from Hitchhikers, which is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. And it's all to do with when Arthur is retelling the story about when he stole the biscuits in the train station from the man, unwittingly. And then I saw it in an Ian McEwan fucking novel called Solar. He references that whole thing and explains it more. I was blown away by that. It's the only one of his novels I've read, and I quite liked it. It was alright. It was good. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, I was in the comic book store talking to this guy, and you know, we're hitting it off, and Douglas Adams comes up, and I start having a little moan. I have a little moan about an experience I had where I was a fan thing, and there was a convention for Hitchhikers, and it was like basically, you know, the biographers of Douglas Adams were in the crowd, so it was a big fucking deal. But a lot of it was basically everyone just kind of there was a lot of good conversation, but like I wanted to put my hand up but didn't. It was a very lively room, and I was like, oh, it's not really energy for what I wanted to express, but like, and they touched on it very gently, but like, you know, that novel or that idea, you know, 42, right, the meaning of life and everything. And this is, I think, if you read any essay about Hitchhikers, it'll probably mention, you know, absurdism and absurdist philosophy, which was very popular. You know, everyone likes to slag off Camus. I think that's just because they're jealous, you know, because he's a very handsome man. I literally saw something on Twitter about that, and it was just like everyone loves to hate him because they just don't want to be him. Yeah, no one wants to be Jean-Paul Sartre. Like, do you know? I always get his name wrong as well. But like, you know, what a wonderful novelist. What a fantastic. Anyway, those guys, I think they're on two sides of the same coin back in the day, and they, you know, this inherent meaninglessness of life, right? Like, what? There's no meaning. Like, what the fuck? So it's just absurd, right? Like, oh my God, well, we can put fucking bowls of petunias in the atmosphere and watch them drop, and whales can be spawned into sentiency, and Bill Bailey can voice them, and it's insane, and it's funny, and we giggle, and we don't know why, right? It's absurdism. We don't know why it's funny. It just is. I mean, I know why it's funny, because I've never seen a whale doing that. Like, and if a whale could talk, they do talk. I'd like to write a short story about that, actually. But yeah, there's a deep absurdist thing, and he's actually making a comment on the culture, right? Like the kind of the slightly deeper interpretation of the novel is that, like, I don't know how deep it is, because I don't know how deep it, you know, you lot have gone into all of this, but like, when you know, if you adopt that not nihilism, but like that absurdist thing of like the meaninglessness of it all, you then are left with this problem, like, you know, like, how the fuck do you go on without meaning? There's no meaning, right? Especially if you're like, a lot of people get their meaning from like God or like religion or like, and I'm not against any of that. It's just, you know, my religion is I have faith that the moment is real, and that's basically as far as my faith goes. I don't, that's, you know, I just trust myself that everything I'm experiencing is real, and not because I've read too much Jean Baudrillard, and that fucked my brain up. He fucked my brain up. Oh, he fucked my brain up too much. I can't even read his I've read like, I've not read enough of it. I haven't even gotten through Simulacra. It's too much. And also I don't know, I think he was I'd love to have had him in a room and been like, hang on a minute, mate, you can make this clearer. You can work a little harder here. I'm sorry. I read it in English, obviously, and he would have been writing in French, so there's always some weird shit that happens in translation. But what I'm slowly getting to is Douglas, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is what I'm talking to the comic book guy about, and which I'll get to his reaction to something in a moment, bear with me, is absurdist philosophy, meaninglessness of life. So what do the people do? Is they create a big computer, and it is a computer in this, and it's a good metaphor, to give them the meaning of life, right? And then they wait millions of years, and the computer spits back 42. It's like, whoa, what? And that's absurdism, right? It's like, you're trying to calculate the meaning of life, you're just going to get back some fucking bullshit number. I actually like to think that Douglas Adams picked it, right? 42, because the next order of magnitude up is 420, and that's a good number. The comic book guy, I was telling this sort of, I was like we were recounting the scenes from the novel or whatever from the film, and he just said this kind of, not really to me, but more to himself, but out loud, like, oh, I just wish you would tell us. What does it mean? And I'm like, oh my God. Right, like, I almost said, well, I can tell you. And it's like, it doesn't mean anything. That was the point. Totally arbitrary. Because when you try and outsource your meaning to someone else, of course it's going to be meaningless. Only you can decide what you find meaningful. If you're honest with yourself, and every day you're waking up and you're thinking to yourself, like, fuck yeah, like, fucking another fucking day of fucking awesome fucking adventure and fucking life, right? But you can't do any of that if you can't fucking get the right, you're not the right temperature. You're not, you're worrying about if you're going to get paid, if you're going to, if you get paid, but if you're going to get work. And I'm not talking about like, oh, you got to go to work or whatever, but I'm talking about like, are you going to get fucked around by someone or something? Are you constantly dreading being fucked around with? Or is like, are you fucking yourself around? Are you not living a life that when you shut your eyes and you think, fuck yeah, like I want this, this and this, right? And I'm not talking about like, oh, I want to fucking fight a jet. I'm talking about like, I want to be able to like walk to the end of the street and back and hold my head up and be like, yeah, I'm happy with who I am. That's all I want, is just to be happy with myself, right? Like, you don't have to be fucking Hercules. You don't have to be fucking Lewis Hamilton. I don't know why that came into my mind. You see what I mean? You don't have to be like everything. You can just be you, and like, and you can be you and be happy and just have a good fucking time, right? You don't have to have everything. And I was thinking a lot about this, right? Like, I was thinking a lot about like being free from want. It's like such a beautiful freedom, because it's like, fuck, I don't want anything. I'm fucking satiate. I'm done. I'm like fucking content. It's fucking sick, right? Like, and that's when your brain starts giving you random shit to worry about, because you're like, it's like idle CPU time. And I hate to use a mechanistic metaphor, but it is a bit like that, right? It's like, so they're like, oh, I got some idle CPU cycles. Let's see if I can crack on with solving world poverty. It's like, no, dude, just fucking enjoy your day off. What I kind of get into, what I got to, really, I did mention it, but like his reaction, he's like, oh, I just wish you told me. It's like, fuck you. So that made me worried. It panicked me a bit. I was like, oh my God, wait, are you living a meaningless life? And he's like, no, probably not. He went to one of the coolest comic book stores in town, but like, I don't know. Yeah, like that idea of like, are you happy? Are you winning? And I mean winning in the sense of like, are you enjoying every day? So yeah, I've rambled enough. I hope that was entertaining. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm doing another pod like tomorrow, I think. So this is like a bonus one because Leanne isn't home and I've got nothing else to do. Oh, dearie me. Should I try and stretch an hour? No, I don't even want to stretch an hour. No, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put in some music. Yeah, I'll put in some tunes. I'll put in one song. I've got... music has slowed down a little bit. I'm really busy. I'm working on a fucking screenplay, boys and girls, and everything in between out there in the ether. Working on a screenplay. Really exciting. Yeah, so I'm not really doing... I'm playing a lot of bass at the moment, doing my scales. I'm just literally... This is so funny. If anyone is listening to this, you've got problems. So this is so not interesting. But yeah, I'll put a track on the end of this. And we didn't really get to the bottom of the aesthetics and beauty discussion, but I'm not at the bottom of that yet anyway. I'm trying to move away from consciousness. It's boring me a bit. I think I'm done with it. No, I'm not done with philosophically, but not philosophically, but like, I'm not done with my consciousness. Assuming I know what consciousness is, I'm still on the fence about even whether or not I really understand what people mean when they say consciousness. But yeah, I'll try and, I don't know, maybe we can call these bonus philosophy episodes. I'll give you some content. Yeah, but a lot of ums. Oh God, I'm bombing on my own podcast live. Yeah, music at the end of this. I'm not doing much music at the moment. I don't have any money to pay you got to pay for studio time and engineers. Like I actually saying that I do have to do some Beer Man Oscar. Shout out Beer Man Oscar and Connor. I don't know if you're listening, lads. Thank you for that episode. It was really fun. I was really nervous, but thank you. It was fun. And you guys, I'm sorry I'm on the phone mic again, Beer Man. You're gonna get mad. I'll make sure to record the freestyles properly. But yeah. He sent me a beat. It's a sick beat. It's a jazzy beat. He made a jazzy beat and it's fucking epic, and he even spit a verse over it and it's fucking scary. It's terrifying. It's powerful energy, like real heavy shit. But I'm not going to put that one on, but I'm going to put something on because I want to hear a cool tune of mine. Yeah. I don't know if you guys like the last one or not, but yeah, you can skip that shit if you like. Anyway... this has been the Joker and the Bard philosophy bonus episode. Just me rambling on, basically. I've been listening to a lot of Bill Burr lately. It's been fun. So, yeah. We have a Patreon. If you're still listening, you're probably interested in the Patreon. I can't remember the URL. Sorry, that's really bad. I haven't got my shit with me. Just if you really want to find it, you can go on a Patreon and search it and give me some money. That'd be great. For just chatting into a phone for 40, 50 minutes or however long this one runs till. That's real nice. I haven't even been laughing. It's not even funny. Has it been funny? You giggled at all? Please giggle for me. Don't. Oh my God, shall I mention this on the air? Yeah, I have a... No. Yeah, go on. No, I'm actually a bit nervous about it. I'll let people know. It doesn't really matter. Who's going to fucking watch it anyway? But I have a TikTok. It's on there. You can find me on there. I know I'm not sharing it, but, like, you can find it. And people are slowly finding it, and it's fucking terrifying because that is my insanity manifest. What's that thing, that guy in that YouTube video? What does he say? A nice suckling duck. This is democracy manifest, or whatever he says or something. It's so funny. Yeah, that is my insanity manifest on TikTok. But yeah, no, we're on Patreon. If you guys want to help out, that'd be great. The main thing is I want to change it so it's per episode, and I want to do like you get the podcast, but I want to animate them. But it takes so much time, and like I can't justify spending more time on this than I already am without like the dollars. You know what I mean? The dollars. But yeah. So if you like this shit, like I'd love to do a live show of the pod, Joker in the Bar. That'd be really fun. There is an email which I can't remember, and I'll probably share that at some point because basically, I'm just lonely. No, it'd be cool to hear if people are listening. I don't know. That's like I said, to go right back to the beginning of this episode, like. There's that doubt, and I think that doubt comes when I'm tired. I am tired right now. We got the long weekend ahead of us, so that's nice. So, yeah. Anyway, this has been the Joker and the Bard. Thank you so much for listening. good night, good love, fuck off. No, not all that shit. Have fun. Enjoy your time on the earth. Yeah, have a good time. Good luck. You know, go out and fucking slay your demons and fucking, you know, get on your shit and do whatever, man. Just don't be square. Because you're not around if you're square. Do you get it? Peace. Yo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is my rhythms, these are my rhymes. Now tell me something, do you think they sound fine? Because I sure do. I think they're pretty sexy. So maybe you can tell me something I don't already know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you ready now? It's coming and it's knocking at your door. Door. Oh yeah. I wish I was a little younger, and then maybe I wouldn't have such ravenous hunger. Tell me now, do you know your left from your right, you motherfucking meat? I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just as confused as everybody else, yeah. The feeling of love, okay? You just have to make some weird fucking noises. It's a mixtape, so we can kind of do whatever we want. I'll probably just put this out, I don't give a fuck. Fuck it, man. What's the point? She was so fly. She was so fly. Penetrating everything from the above. Divine, beautiful shit. There he is, Herc motherfucker, thank you for the beat. Beautiful rhythms, now letting me speak. I'm gonna do something that sounds real profound. Do you have the rhythms? Do you have the rhymes? Are you ready to hear some of these motherfucking crimes? Cause I sure am. I need to do this. There's no other way to get the demons from the head. No one can tell me what I should do. This is my music, motherfucker, so listen up tight. I'm coming for you now, you're gonna feel my mic, yeah. Get so high. How do you do it, sugar? How do you do it? Why do you make me feel so high? Here we go. Yeah. I feel so good when I'm not into the beat. The rhythm when I feel it makes me feel good. Yeah. Sugar, you get me so high. Why do you get me so high? Is it because of the monster that's living in my head? Beautiful demon, beautiful kush. What a me, motherfucking melee. Yeah, I'm rhyming Chinese cause I can do it in whatever you got. I'm a polyglot, so tell me now what you got.
И 2 часа.